Scott's work has been featured at galleries throughout North America and can be seen at the Headbones Gallery in Toronto.
He's definitely pop in the sense that he uses a line. It's got sort of a feeling of the cartoon to it. He's also an artist who works the performative into his work. So despite the fact that he's using paint on paper in this particular instance, it still refers to his performance. And his performance, of course, is his wrestling.
I used to think people would think what I was doing was dumb. That they would think, oh, that's so kind of, silly and choreographed, and it's kind of campy and ridiculous, and it's seen as lowbrow, right? It's not going to the opera, right? It's low art, not high art, okay? And I used to, because people sort of like to impose value, like their judgments on things. And if they only knew what it was really like, that culture and the people in it and so on, what they were really like, they'd realize that it was actually really a lot of fun and amazing. And it's probably one of the best things I've ever done. Because I'm not afraid anymore of sharing what goes on in my world with other people, because it's just life stuff. It's provided me with this sort of fearlessness, because you have to put yourself on display because it's performance oriented. And when I started doing that more and more and more, I learned the fear just went away. I started to realize that these different facets of my life didn't have to be so separate. Wrestling didn't have to be separate from art. Art didn't have to be separate from teaching. And it didn't even have to be separate from my political, interests and my community and cultural interests within the LGBT community. I realized that art is about merging all those things into one activity. But that came over time. So if you asked me 8 years ago would I have had a wrestling ring in my house? No. If you asked me 4 years ago, yes. I really started to get a fighting spirit, like a real one. Not a one that's sort of kind of superficial on the surface, but I really got one with the Iraq War, because I was just so infuriated by this whole contrived, obviously constructed, choreographed reason for going to war and all that stuff, and I participated in peace marches, and that's when I joined the NDP. Because they were the exact opposite of George Bush. And that, being in that kind of culture of like intense political activism, taught me that things are worth fighting for. There are people in this world who sit and bitch and complain about everything. But if you're not willing to take the things on that are wrong head on, don't ever expect them to change. Nothing changes without you suffering and sacrificing for and making noise about. And I'm much more comfortable doing that, and I'm certainly not afraid to do it, and I'm not afraid of anybody. Bring it on. I'll take them on because I've got a brain. I have like new ones that you should see. Okay? And I'm so glad that it'll be like my going away show that I'll be in. Perfect. Okay, good to see you. When I first moved to Toronto, it was a real eye-opening experience because I got to participate in a very dense, populated queer community that was active and dynamic. So it really helped me progress and see how complex our community actually is. Being here now, this is 14 years later from when I was originally here. And I guess I have to say that, like I say, I feel like I've come full circle. That I'm comfortable with this place, with where I am in my life. And it's almost not that being a gay person doesn't matter to me. In fact, it does. But it's just that I'm at this place where it's just a part of my being that I know and accept. That it's no longer just a necessity for me to be surrounded by this. I can be out and active in the world and engaging people, you know, as who I am. And I don't need the safety that, you know, that once was perhaps found here when I first moved here. Yeah, I feel safe everywhere. I could have, I suppose, been a doctor, you know, a specialist in some sort of field of medicine, making 3 times, 4 times what I make now. But would I have been happy? And the answer is no.
We may have had other expectations, but the reality is he's doing what's important to him. And that's important to us, that he's happy doing what he's doing.
This summer, Scott will move back to his hometown of London, Ontario. With plans to pursue a PhD in art and teach wrestling, he returns a new man, prepared to live life on his terms.